Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about little things that you can do in order to fix your relationship, make it better, and in a way kind of put it up to level 2. Most of the people nowadays have relationships out of the selfish need to have someone to take care of them or to fulfill their needs. So the real partnership is rare and mostly doesn't exist. Anyways, if you have a relationship, it's also really easy to step into the area where you kind of feel like you're stuck, you don't know what to do, you have issues but you don't know how to solve them. Anyways, I'm gonna give you little hacks. Maybe one of them is gonna help you get out of that position. So I'm gonna show you simple but efficient hacks that you can use in your relationship that I learned from books or from therapies, or yeah, I went through a lot of group therapies, and I also went with my partner to therapies, and I also had people that had issues with marriage or relationship coming to me for therapies, which I really love doing. Like, this is my passion. I think that's why. That is one of the reasons why I was put on this beautiful planet Earth. But anyways, let's start. Hack number 1, the pen. You must be wondering, what's with the pen? Pen is a very important object if you're fighting. Well, it can be any object, but I thought this pen is so pretty, so why not use it? So basically, when you and your partner are fighting about anything, the biggest problem becomes the communication, which means that you both are talking in the same time and nobody's listening to anybody, and you'll be like blah, 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 and there is no decent communication. So what this little pen does is it gives a person that holds the pen right to talk, and the other person needs to shut up and listen. So when the first person is done with whatever he or she wants to say, it gives the pen to the other person, and then that person has the pen and has the right to speak. So basically, holding any kind of object, a cup of coffee, I don't know, a piece of paper or a remote even, it gives you the authority to talk. And in this way, you actually have one person talking and the other person listening. And it works. Trust me, it does work. I've been using this for ages. I've been using it with friends, and when I was fighting with anyone, I was like, okay, we have this object, so the person that holds the object is allowed to speak and everyone else needs to listen. Perfect, simple, silly hack, but it works. Okay, number 2. A lot of reasons why relationships fail is the boredom. Because people just start kind of paying less and less attention to each other, and the little hacks that you can do is to plan date nights. Plan, I don't know, whether it's like Friday evening or Saturday evening, or you don't even have to go anywhere, but it needs to be a special dinner with special kind of ritual that you're gonna do every week, and try to maintain it. Like, try to, even, I don't know, if you're not able to do something on Thursday, or just pass it on to Friday or Saturday and Sunday, but be sure that you need to fulfill this. Like, once a week for 3 hours, this is our time when we have a date, and we're gonna, you know, talk and talk about the things that are on our minds, like open up to each other. Number 3, it's also connected to boredom. And the way to kind of lift up your relationship, and this is amazing, I love doing this, you go out on a date with your partner as if you never dated before, like you don't know each other. I did this a couple of times and it's absolutely magnificent. I'm really going into the energy of another person very easily. For example, me and my fiance, we are both Croatians, so if we're gonna go on a blind date, like if it's gonna be like the first time that we meet, we're both gonna speak in English. And it's kind of like, because we don't usually do that when we are alone, it feels like he's someone else. But of course, like, if you can't talk in different language, you can dress differently and take up a role that you never took before. And this is amazing. Like, I remember us going out for drinks, and I literally felt like I never met this person before, and it was so exciting. Like, and at the end of the night, I was so into him. Like, this was my boyfriend that I was dating for years already. But it doesn't matter. The energy was different. The intention, the focus was different. And this was the thing that I was talking about in my last video. The focus, that we are losing focus on our partner, and we're less and less into that person. We're less, you know, seeing little things, and this kind of disrupts our relationships in the end. You know, like at the end, when people cheat is I'm gonna make a video about cheating as well. They usually cheat because they're lacking something in the relationship, or they're not able to show what they really are in the relationship. Which brings me to the next one. Let's talk about honesty. How are we gonna work on our honesty? I find the best thing you can do is to put it on the paper. We have the mighty pen again. Put everything you feel on a piece of paper and ask your partner to do the same thing. But anything, be like really honest, and then you can, even if you don't live together, you can send letters. It was a way that our ancestors communicated, and it was kind of romantic. It was cool. Try to write down things if you can't really say them, or even like it's easier when you're when you're alone at home. It's easier to sit down and actually write things down than, you know, when you're actually facing that person. Your emotions could get you like a bit distracted, or you can start feeling embarrassed, or you can, you know, like leave it for the next time. And yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me. Sometimes it's even like I have things perfectly set in my mind, and then I actually see the real person, and I'm like, where the fuck was I don't know what to say anymore. So yeah, it's easier to write things down on a piece of paper. Hack number, I don't know where we are, at what number, doesn't matter. Next one. Be sure to have friends. The things that happen to couples, and I've seen this happening so many times, especially to guys, but also to girls, is that when they start dating a girl, they lose interest in everyone else. In the beginning, this is like a normal thing, you know, you just want to spend as much time as you want and you can with with that person, and you feel like you're never gonna have enough. But what happens is, like, two human beings kind of meet, and they kind of like, you really want to go into that person, but what happens is, like, when you have enough, you feel like there's nothing left to explore. And it is like that, honestly, because that person is only interacting with you. So whatever you guys, two of you, have, when you mix it up, when you give everything to each other, there's nothing left. And the best way to get more kind of information, more kind of energy, is to interact with other people. Do not lose your friends. Do not lose your male friends as well. If your girlfriend is jealous of you hanging out with guys, like, tell her to back off. You know, you need your friends, especially later in life. I've seen so many guys that have been completely destroyed and stripped off their masculinity in a manner where they lost all their friends they had, and now they're only with their partner working, and they're miserable. Like, keep your friends, especially if you're a female as well. You know, how are you gonna know if your fiance, boyfriend, date is dickhead if you don't have a female friend that's gonna, you know, confirm it to you? We girls are very kind of... It's very easy to kind of get into our head, especially if we're into you. Like, it's very easy to get us to think in a certain manner. That's why we have our girl gang that's gonna help us out. Yeah. And next one, it's do stuff together as well. So I was just talking about how important it is to have friends, but it's also important to do things together, to have mutual interests. Not only to sit in front of the TV and watch Netflix or to have sex, but like also to kind of like share mutual interests. If that's gonna be, I don't know, taking a hike once a week, once in 2 weeks, or playing video games together, or I don't know, any kind of like board games, or I know, cooking together. Like there's so many things that you can do with your partner. Do them. Do not let, you know, life get into the way. Find time to do it. Like I'm sure there is some time. Do not let your relationship rot into boredom and becomes this thing that you have where you, I don't know, don't even ask each other how you're doing, or I don't know, where your life becomes like, especially it's hard when you get to the point where you have kids, and where there's like life in the way, like work, kids, and be sure to make time for each other. Make sure to use the pen, and to not, you know, start not listening to each other. This is where the trouble becomes, when there is no decent communication, where it's only just shouting at each other and blaming each other. This is not going to bring you anywhere. Of course, certain relationships can be helped. There's sometimes it's time to let go, but I'm sure all of you are old enough and mature enough to know where that moment comes. But all other relationships can be and should be fixed and held up to high standards. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and use the pen. Be sure to subscribe and like the video. I have opened the Patreon finally. There's nothing much there at the moment, but I am working on it. It's gonna be a lot of BDSM content, a lot of relationship coaching, and sex coaching as well. I think it's gonna be great fun. So if you can, please join me. For only, I think I put up $5 for like most of the stuff, and some things are gonna be like kept for higher tiers, because they will expose me in a way that I never exposed myself before. But it's all for the good educational quests, goals. Sorry. Anyways, guys, see you, and use the pen.